There we go. We are live. It is Wednesday evening. Everybody, welcome to our usual Wednesday night rambles. I'm joined, as I always am, by my cohorts Daryl, Northern Vinyl guy. I guess it's on this side, and Joe down there from On a Vinyl, and our special guest tonight, Emma from Eighth Vinyl Low.
Yay.
Welcome, everybody.
Guys, hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, we're
Good
thrilled to
evening.
have you. It's great. We've been trying to make this happen for a couple of weeks, so glad.
I
you could
know
join us.
it's been in the works. Finally able to do it.
Cool. Well, we're thrilled. It's gonna be a good one. We're talking live albums tonight.
We are.
And I'm
Yes,
gonna try not to cough, so I'm gonna try to keep hydrated. As I always do, go around the horn. What's going on, Darren or Joe? How's the record store going?
Store's good. Haven't been there for a few days.
Well,
Well, no, that's okay. I don't have to be there every day. I've got it running like a fine oiled machine.
there you go.
Yeah, so I haven't been for a couple days, but it's been steady. It's been good. It continues to be good. We're going to do something a little different. Normally we do a Saturday. This time we're going to try a Tuesday night. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but we just need that off hour thing. So
Sure.
next Tuesday we're going to be open late till 8, and we'll see. Put some new stuff out, keep open a little later and see what happens. But it's been steady and it's been good. Winter's coming, so I'm not sure. I don't know. This will be our first Christmas season. So I'm not sure what that's going to do. If a lot of people buy friends new albums, used album. I don't know if anybody buys a friend a used. Yeah, they do. I mean, I know I've bought friends used albums before. So we'll see if that increases things a little bit. But new people in every day. Not every day, but every couple of days. And yeah, it's been good. So it's been good.
You guys planning anything for Black Friday or Record Store Day?
I don't know. We'll pick up some titles. I'm not going to go nuts. We can't go nuts. I mean, I obviously want to bring the people in, but I also don't want to have 100 titles of which 95 of them are never going to sell, but are highly unlikely going to sell. There's too much of that. So I'll play it up that it'll be a Black Friday Record Store Day, but you can come and buy your used stuff instead of new stuff or whatever, and I'll do some deals or I'll do something. So we'll see. We're going to play it up a little bit, but we're not going to go deep. We're not going to have all the titles. We're going to have some, and it'll be a little different than other stores, I'm sure. So
cool. Very good. Very good. Emma, what's new with you? What's happening in Emma's world?
Not much. In terms of the music world, I've attended a couple shows over the last month or so. About a month and a half ago, I went to go see Jeff Lynne's ELO, which was very cool. That was a bucket list item for me. So
I've heard that from a couple people that it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, I feel like that's been a huge thing with this final tour. Everybody's trying to fit it in while they can, I think. So I did that. And then I went to go see Bob Mould play his solo electric tour, where it's just like him and his electric guitar and he just goes for it. So that was really cool. I'm a huge Bob Mould fan. And then recently I went to go see the DBs. They're on their reunion tour. So it was pretty cool to see kind of the 4 original guys from that power pop band of the 80s get together. I think they're celebrating their debut album. They're reissuing it. The Stands for Decibels. And so that was really cool to see. But outside of that, just busy teaching high school freshmen specifically. So just that busy time of year, homecoming and conferences and all that fun stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of teaching high school people, Daryl, other than the fact that you got snow up there today.
Yeah, today was the first day of snow here in the north. And as I was saying earlier with you guys, that it was that wet, slushy Southern Ontarian stuff that I remember when I lived in Windsor, and I didn't like it. But yeah, just looking out the front window and seeing the snow, I was like, I couldn't have waited till after October 31st. We got to bring our kids out too in the mud and everything here.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
It just feels a little better.
Yeah, I'm back to work. I mean, I mentioned this, that we get our
hunt week last week.
Yeah, so I'm back to work. I started yesterday. And of course, today was flu shot day at the high school. So my left arm is killing me right now, but it is what it is. So No, it's been good. Nothing too eventful here. Bit of a long weekend. We kind of had a weird situation. We adopted this dog. We saw it. It was just a stray dog because there's a million of them around here. And then 2 days in, the owners who hadn't claimed it for 2 weeks, it was just running around or whatever, threatened to come to my house and get it. So we had to give it back.
Shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
Yikes.
That was probably
so just
fun.
one of those, but yeah, no. And actually, just a disclaimer about today's topic. I'm kind of in a weird boat. I don't have very many live albums in my collection. So what I've done is I'm going to show the live ones first, and then I'm going to go into bands and musicians that I think would probably have a pretty good live presence on stage.
That's fine.
That's a great idea.
No rules here.
Yeah.
No rules. Exactly.
A couple of folks talking about records. It's all good.
Exactly.
MGK Buffalo, how you doing, man? I've never seen it. I've never been a big RSD Day guy, but I want the reissue of the whole set in London. There's only a 5-song EP at that point. I don't know what he's talking about,
No, me either. But
No clue.
but it sounds like a great idea.
yeah, exactly. But we believe
The
in every word
reissue.
you say, Mike. Yeah.
Anything that's a reissue sounds like a great idea. Why not?
I think he answers it what he's talking about in a second.
Oh,
here.
there we go.
There you go.
There we
Blast it over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. I didn't read far enough. I'm a little slow on the uptake here today. So, and welcome to Trevor.
Hey, Trevor.
Yeah.
There you
Hey,
go.
Trevor
I
did a
did
new
not-
video the other day.
What's that?
Trevor did a new video the other day.
He
He
did.
did.
He did,
Did.
yeah.
And he was opening the boxes because it was more fun or whatever he said.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah.
I got nothing new and exciting, folks. I've done absolutely nothing since last week. Just get up and go to work, and that's it. So,
You're
exciting life I lead.
you're a two-sport picture though today.
Well,
You
right.
got- yeah.
Well, my Habs hat's upstairs, and this hat's always this is the YouTube hat because it's just always sitting on my desk.
Yeah, that's
And I set a jersey on because it was cold enough in my basement that the t-shirt was too cold, but it wasn't cold enough for a hoodie. So I'm like, well, a good compromise is a jersey. So there's a lot of Ontario sports people where this makes a lot of sense.
that's right.
Because there
Yeah,
are a lot
there
of
are, yeah.
fans of this team that don't like the hockey team from this city. So
Mhm.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of this going on. It may seem freakish, but it makes a lot of sense.
Been a
I'm
little
claiming
while.
the fifth on even talking about that hockey team right now.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. By the way, they suck shit. So I think
I don't know
we're-
how you can go from destroying Tampa to losing to Columbus like
right.
gas last night.
Oh man, we just it's and you know what?
It's bad.
As if this wasn't suffering enough for the last 6 months. The second worst team in baseball to maybe the worst team in hockey? Can't get a break.
Must be you, Rob.
It's
Yeah.
I'm a jinx to both of them. That's what it is. That's got to be the problem. It's got to be the problem. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, I'm mismatching my sports, but it's too lazy to grab my Habs hat from upstairs. So
My son is going to LA tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow for the weekend. They're going to a football game. They're going to Disneyland. $1,500 was the cheapest World Series ticket in LA.
Whew.
That's the cheapest you could find was $1,500, which, to many down there is just $15 to maybe the four of us or whatever. But he goes, yeah, I'll go if you've got an extra $1,500 around to give me. But so I told him just find a ladder, put a pair of coveralls on, and just walk in the damn stadium like you own the place, and away you go. Try it.
Well,
What
there's
are they
people on
going to do? Not
YouTube
let
that have
you
done
in?
that before. So
Exactly.
They
You
have.
gotta- You got to try it anyway. We'll see. So,
are you going to watch the
yeah.
World Series, Joe?
you know what? It's been a while since it's been a Dodgers and Yankees World Series. I'll maybe watch a little bit just because that's always fun. Because when I was more of a baseball fan before there was the Jays, like in my early days, I was a Dodgers fan. So it was Dodgers and Yankees. Like I'm like Steve Garvey, Ron Say, that Dusty Baker kind of
Sure.
a Dodgers fan. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was so a little bit of a soft spot, kind of for the Dodgers, a little bit, and obviously not for the Yankees in any way, shape, or form. So I would have liked to have seen the Mets actually make it in, but
I'm kind of hoping both teams lose.
yeah, I've seen that more than one today. Yeah, I've seen that
But
more
if
than
I have gun to my head, if I had to pick one, I got to pick the Dodgers. I can't stand the Dodgers, but I hate the Yankees more.
Yeah.
But more importantly, if the Dodgers win, that means Kevin Kiermaier gets a ring. And I was a huge fan of him, and I was so sad when we traded him. And Teoscar Hernandez, also so sad when we traded him. So,
so it's
you
good.
know, if they win, that would be okay. But I'm still wild about it because both of those teams, the only reason they're there is they both spent exorbitant amounts of money and just illustrate the point why baseball needs a salary cap.
Yeah. The Tigers were, anyway, we don't need to talk much more about baseball.
No, we can go
anyways,
on about baseball night, but I won't do that. I'll catch up on the comments and then we'll dive into the topic here. So I love this. The only habitants I'm into are the canned soups. I like that comment.
I get that reference, yeah.
To my American friends that are watching, goes, what the fuck is he talking about? This team, although it's called the Montreal Canadiens, you will not find a Canadian who calls them the Canadians. Every Canadian calls them the Habs, which is habitants in French, which were peasant farmers when Quebec was New France. I have a history degree. I could go all day about that history lesson.
And that pea soup, cool. that pea soup that they make is amazing.
Right. And habitant pea soup is a staple.
That's a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it, though? Pea soup and amazing back to back. I don't know if that's I don't know.
No, it was
not. If you're going to have pea soup, that brand, go for it. But I'm just never going to have pea soup. So
I got fed it a lot when I was a kid, and I think everybody did. I won't eat it now, but
yeah,
it is what it is. And I love this comment because FVA's in Montreal. So
that's
right. Man, I got to represent. And then a bunch of people say hi to each other. And
I like Mike's comment, though. Yeah.
Where?
He's only here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. We're talking live albums tonight. In whatever shape or form that means. Albums that you think are the best live albums that are your favorite live albums, whatever live albums you have in your collection. However you want to define that. That's what we're talking about tonight. I have a crap ton of live albums, so I've actually found it pretty hard to narrow it down. But I picked some. So without further ado, Emma, you're our guest of honor. You want to go first?
Exactly.
Now, I was debating as I was going through. I didn't know how many live albums to pick, so I tried to narrow it down, and as Rob was saying, it is hard. I have the opposite of Daryl's problem where I have so many live albums here that I couldn't figure out where I wanted to go with it. However, just to get this out of the way, and I know I'm going to get on Rob with Blue Rodeo at some point. He'll get on me with this.
I purposely did not pull any Blue Rodeo because I didn't want to hear it.
I was thinking about if I should do this or not, if I should leave it be. I can't talk about live albums without going this direction, so we'll just get this out of the way.
Get it out of the way.
We're going to rip the Band-Aid. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off, and we are going to talk about Out to Get You. That was a surprise. Cheap Trick, Out to Get You, not Budokan.
Not what I was figuring. I do
have Budokan too. I do have we'll start with Budokan real quickly. 1978. This is what launched Cheap Trick into their success and fame. It was recorded in 1978, and it officially got a U.S. release in 79. It has a really long backstory to how kind of the success came to be, Cheap Trick, in Japan. And it kind of goes back to the tours that they were on with Kiss and Queen at the time in Wisconsin, in Madison, Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And there were some Japanese press that were there, and they were there for Queen or they were there for Kiss. And they were very impressed with Cheap Trick. And I think it was kind of their unique cartoonish personas when you look at Rick Nielsen jumping around stage, or you look at Bunny Carlos with the cigarette dangling out of his mouth. And they definitely took to that. And so They had 3 albums released by this point, their debut, In Color and Heaven Tonight. Didn't really take off here in the US. They end up going to Japan. And Robin Zander always tells this story when he's talking about this, that they pulled up and there were like thousands of people standing outside the airport, and they thought like a president was like something was going on. They didn't realize that that everybody was there for them. And so they ended up playing, I think, 5 or 6 shows in Japan and Tokyo and Osaka. And another quick little fun backstory about the original recordings of Budokan, because they've released like complete recordings and things like that over the years, DVDs and so on. But the producer, Jack Douglas, who also produced their debut album from '77, has shared that a lot of the audio from the Budokan shows were not suitable for the album. So actually, a lot of the songs that we hear on here are mixed from Osaka, not Budokan. I think like the I Want You to Want Me, which became their biggest hit off of this album, was recorded in Osaka, not Budokan. So there's a little fun fact, Cheap Trick fun fact for you. But eventually, 1979, it sold. The import sold so many copies. Japanese import sold so many copies here in the U.S. They released in 1979 February, and the rest is history.
Very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excuse me.
Very
I
good.
knew you had to start with that because
I had to.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you this. I probably haven't. I had a friend of mine who's a professional drummer in Toronto. He plays in a band called the Skydiggers. He bought some drums from Bunny Carlos.
Very cool.
And he plays with them on stage. Not all the time, sometimes, depending on, who he's playing with and what he's doing. But
Yeah, he did that. He's been selling off his sets for years now. I think over the last 10 or 15 years, he has like a huge drum warehouse. He's still based out of Rockford, Illinois. I actually see him play sometimes in his Monday night band. So
he's not touring with them anymore, is he?
No, he hasn't been touring with them for years. Rick's son, Dax, has been the drummer there for like 15 years or so now. Yeah, that's a whole feud in and of itself. Some Cheap Trick drama.
Yeah.
No way, drama in a band? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
In a band, yeah. But he still plays. He plays in a band in Rockford called the Monday Night Band at a little local bar called Mary's Place. So he still at least gets out and plays a couple gigs a year. But
Awesome.
Cool. Joe, Daryl, who wants to go next?
Sure, because we had the opener. We might as well have the headliner as well and just get my obvious one out of the way. But we'll start with this one. No, we'll start with the one that started it all. So much like Cheap Trick, obviously, I don't have to say a lot about A Kiss Alive, but had the 3 albums out, didn't do a hell of a lot, had everybody going to their shows, put out the live album, they blew up, and then it just went from there. So like I said, I don't really have to talk about it a lot. I think much like what Emma was just saying, though, there's not a lot of this is from the same show. Everybody thinks it's just from Cobo Hall in Detroit, and not a lot of it. Well, not a lot of it is. Some of it is for sure, but it's mixed from a bunch of different things. There's also the fact that it's the most unlive live album ever because there's a whole bunch of stuff added in. There's just all
I think
of that.
Eagles Live would give that a run for its money.
Yeah, I think so a little bit. That might be down here somewhere too. I'm like you guys too. I started to look, and there's probably another 20 that I didn't even bother to pull out because then I got to put them away, which always sucks as well at the end. But this is not an original ticket from this show in Detroit. I was around when that was recorded, but anyway, like I said, that's the one that started it all. It's got the great stuff on the back. Nobody's got their camera up filming anything, and then Alive 2. Which was basically, again, I'm pretty sure everybody knows, but this is basically live stuff from the first 3 albums. This is live from some of those, and then this is also live from Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. And then the 4th side is actually some new material as well. I'm not sure why they didn't just make a full. I guess they wanted to get some stuff out there, but so, and then it's another ticket from another show. But I don't need to talk about Kiss Alive a whole bunch, but I thought Emma started with Cheap Trick, so she had the opener, I had the closer or the headliner, and just get my obvious one out of the way, which is of course Kiss Alive. So there you go.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what Daryl's going to pick. So, Daryl.
All right. So as has been mentioned, I don't really have too many live albums. Legitimately, I have 3.
Ooh,
The 4th
That's
album
okay.
I'm going to show is a concert I went to. Well, it's a band of a concert I went to live, so I can attest that they put on a pretty good show. And then the rest of it's going to be bands and musicians that I think probably put on a pretty good show. So the first one that came to mind, this isn't a guy that, like, I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of him, but I appreciate his music. This was actually gifted to me as a Christmas gift many years ago, and it's the one that came to mind. First of all, it's one of the greatest selling albums of all time, at least live albums, and that's Frampton Comes Alive. 1976. It's the one that's got Show Me the Way. It's kind of a weird one. It's like upside down. They do some covers, Jumping Jack Flash, and Baby I Love Your Way is on there. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And like Joe was saying about some of these other ones, I mean, I always thought it was from one venue as well. But as I researched it, I mean, it took place in California and San Francisco, Long Island, all kinds of different shows that are on there. So I appreciate it. I think what my issue is that, especially in Show Me the Way, is just that guitar. I don't like the fake sounding guitar. I just can't stand it. And I think that's what puts me off of that album to listen to on a regular basis, I guess. But there's no doubt the sales, I mean, popular. You can't go wrong with Frampton, I guess. Frampton Comes Alive.
And if you didn't if you weren't an Aerosmith fan, it was your introduction to the talk box, because those were the two kind of places that it really was utilized. Was Aerosmith, obviously Sweet Emotion, and Perry used his talk box a lot, and then it really comes through in the 57-minute version of the Peter Frampton song. And I think it was it Wayne's World that Wayne said that album was issued, if you were alive in the 70s, everybody just got a copy of Frampton Comes Alive. You were just given a copy. I think it was from Wayne's World. I can't remember, but something like that. So
That's how I got mine.
Yeah, I've got mine too. I don't think that's one that I pulled out, because I knew one of us would, because everybody's got one. It's a good album. It grows on you, I think, a little bit, and then it fades a little bit from time to time as well. Like, I don't know if I need to hear it again a whole bunch, but I don't hate it either. So
yeah, that's fair. I agree.
Yeah, I probably listen to it once a year, if that, but I enjoy it when I do.
Yeah. I mean, Peter, didn't he just got inducted Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Wasn't he just in the most recent class? I think. I think it was this year.
Recent. Yeah, it was either this year or the previous year. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. There's no Blue Rodeo in my pile, because I didn't want to deal with all the shit being thrown at me. So I'm not going to show any of that. Instead, I'm going to show what I think is the greatest live album ever. Last Waltz by the band.
Yeah.
Where to start? What a cool. It's not a concert in the typical sense, right? They bring a bunch of people in for Thanksgiving dinner, and the band comes up there to play what was ultimately their farewell performance. And they bring a lot of their very famous friends. I mean, you've got Paul Butterfield, Eric Clapton, Neil Diamond, Bob Dylan, Emmylou Harris, Ron Hawkins, Dr. John, Joni Mitchell, Van Morrison, Muddy Waters, Ron Wood, Neil Young, and I still can't stop coughing. What a hell of a show! It just incredible. There's a Scorsese made a movie about it, or a documentary, whatever. And there's more than what's actually in that documentary, but I think this was probably the first live album that I ever heard, and probably the first live album I ever owned. I was getting into the band, and my dad said, well, then you need to hear The Last Waltz, and just absolutely blew me away. The band were incredibly musicians, could play with anybody and played with everybody. So the fact that the people that came to sort of honor their farewell, I mean, it was just this concert was kind of lightning in a bottle. and very well recorded, and just a hell of a good concert. So I'm going with The Last Waltz.
It
Here we
was
go, Rob.
one.
For the record,
Yeah.
it's the one album I forgot to pull off my shelf.
See, sorry I stole your thunder, man.
I was gonna say
No, I
actually,
forgot to
thought
pull it
the
off the
movie-
shelf. I didn't even have it in my pile.
There you go.
I don't think
Yeah.
I did.
I
Yeah.
pulled this out, but I wasn't going to talk about it because I figured somebody was going to have this. So.
Yeah. It is one though that was all recorded in one spot and is, as you said, recorded well because they were doing the movie, and so they knew like we got to get this right. So I think, I mean, obviously they always knew they were making a live recording, but it just seemed like the quality of that one was maybe just a little bit better and not touched up like some of the other ones that we're talking about. Not some stuff added in. It just was what it was. So,
And there's something about it. You know, I don't know if they knew that it was going to be their final performance at the time,
yeah.
but it was just such an incredible send off. And for some reason, it sort of took on a life of being bigger than what it was. I think it's one of those,
Yeah.
you know, the big you talk about Woodstock or, some of those like absolute landmark concerts. This or the Beatles at Shea Stadium, one of those 1 in a million concerts, and that was one of them. So yeah,
and Martin did do a good job. Like
Great job.
it is a great documentary. If for whomever might be watching this now or in the future, if you haven't seen it, again, it's one of those that kind of transcends the band itself. It's well done, and you will get a better appreciation for the band, plus all the people that came in and joined them for it. So,
and you don't have to be a fan of the band's music if you just like good music.
Yeah.
And find your group of musicians. There hasn't been, I don't think so.
No. Yes.
Let me get caught up in the comments here. Whereabouts was I? Somewhere around about up here somewhere. There's a whole lot of French going on.
Yeah, there is a whole bunch that I
speak
in no
enough
way,
French.
shape, or form understand.
I speak
But-
enough French to know what they're saying. So somewhere I swore at them in French right here. That's a swear word in French. And then we actually got to continue to talk French. It's all cool. I'm just, making light of the situation. Someone was saying, here we go. Rick was saying he saw Cheap Trick open for Kiss in '77. Very loud. I saw them open for Aerosmith in like 2000 and something.
Were they loud?
Oh yeah, but it was great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They're still loud. I mean, they have everything cranked up at their shows, even now. Yeah.
I'd love to see them again, actually. They were so good.
Yeah, they're still out there, still touring.
And then some more French stuff. Joe's disappeared, but James saying Kiss MTV Unplugged is a better live album than you'd expect. I mean, I don't know nothing about Kiss. I can't.
Still here. I'm just over here. I'm looking for something, but I'm
Oh.
still here and I can hear you.
You agree that MTV Unplugged Kiss is better than you'd expect?
Yeah, it was good because what it was, their stuff didn't necessarily. Yeah, I apologize for walking away. I just went
Oh,
to find something because
I do it all
I
the
thought
time.
about it, and I'm an old man. I thought about it earlier, and I forgot to go and do it. But then someone reminded me. Anyway, yeah, it's good, and it's cool because at the time the reunion I don't think had happened. So Peter and Ace came out and did a couple songs. So everybody, all the Kiss fans lost their shit because, oh my God, Peter and Ace came out and did some stuff with them, and then the full-blown Makeup reunion tour came later. So and it's pretty good. 2000 Man sounds really good as a live version. It sounds great on Dynasty as well, but the live unplugged version of 2000 Man sounds good. And yeah, I enjoyed it, and that's not what I went to look for, but there is something similar that I went to look for, and I can't find the damn thing right now because it's not filed where it's supposed to be, and I won't be rude and go off camera anymore. So yeah, there you go.
All good, man. It's all good.
Okay, then I'll be right back. I can hear you though.
All right, carry on. We'll skip over any future Kiss comments for the time being. I'm going to skip some French stuff. James is saying, I like the talking guitar. Jeff Beck probably started that trend. Yeah, I think he probably did.
Yeah.
Record Hound has an 8-track of Frampton Comes Alive. I'm sure there's millions of those floating around.
It's in his closet.
Yes. Frampton got inducted this past Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. I knew it was either the last one or this one.
Right. Last Waltz is great. Band is good. Last Waltz is an incredible intro for the band. Yeah, it is because, they play a lot of the hits and they play a lot of other stuff, but they do them a little differently. But I think it was kind of my introduction to the band, truthfully. So
Yeah.
it's too bad the band's solo sets weren't on the new Bob Dylan and the Band Live in '74 set. I am so glad that it's not, because then I would have had to buy that. And I don't need 27 CDs of Bob Dylan. I don't need any CDs of Bob Dylan. So I'm glad that wasn't included. Also, I probably couldn't afford to buy it. So
for you, that's like listening to John Lennon, where it was a Lennon song, then it was a Yoko song, then it was a Lennon song.
That's
would
exactly
have been like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I won't make any comments about Dylan's voice tonight like I usually do.
The one thing I will say,
No cheese grater comments.
Yeah, no. The one thing I will say about Cheap Trick, although Metallica is a close second, they throw out the most guitar picks at the end of the show than anybody else I've ever seen live. Like Nielsen brings out like a garbage pail, and he just keeps throwing them out there. So yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
and they put on
No, go ahead.
Yeah, they sound good still. I saw them 2 years ago. Robin sounds good. Rick still plays well. Everybody's good. They're still pretty tight. The only thing that pisses me off, speaking of tight, is they never play She's Tight. I've actually seen them a couple of times recently, and they never play She's Tight, and I love that song, and they don't.
A couple of years ago, they brought it back into their set, and I heard it probably in a year or two, at least 5 or 6 times. Live, but it is a fun one live, and I do like when he brings out his Uncle Dick guitar for that one. So
yeah, for sure.
But no, I mean, he's during Dream Please, he grabs those handfuls and throws them out during that song, let alone the entire show. But
yeah, no, they're still good. I've seen them. I think I've seen them 3 times. Forever ago, not 77, but forever ago, when Bunny was still with them, which was cool, and then more recently a couple of times. So yeah, always still good stuff. So
Julie says she's supposed to see Cheap Trick next year with Heart. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
great bill.
Cool.
Yeah. I think I saw Anne performing recently. Like, she's okay and feeling better. I don't know if that. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if that is a true statement or not, because I obviously saw her performing, but I don't know if it was a recent performance or not. But hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
Trevor's saying he really wished Cheap Trick would do I Must Be Dreaming live.
Heavy Metal's a great soundtrack.
Yeah. One of the
It's
best,
so good.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they don't really do a lot of their soundtrack songs live. So I thought maybe they'd do Mighty Wings with the Top Gun that came out a couple years ago, Maverick. I thought maybe they'd bring that out and play that at their shows, but they didn't.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad they
All
play.
right.
Not that it wasn't a big hit, but I'm glad they play If I Want Your Love, You Got It. If You Want My Love, You Got It.
You Want Me Love, that's such a great
song. So that's a great song. Yeah, that is a really good song. And that was a later in the career song that still did really well for him. So, yeah.
Yeah. That it is like the perfect pop song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just really good. I'm just, like I said, the only thing I'm pissed about is No She's Tight. So at some point, I just have to go keep seeing them. And I'll just yell at them next time if they don't play it. So
there you go. Yeah, just throw it in.
There you go.
I mean, that's what I love about them, though. Like, they never play the same set twice.
Nope. It's been a lot.
It's every single night it's something different. Yeah, they'll have, staple songs in there. They'll have Surrender, Dream Please, I Want You to Want Me, and it'll be scattered around. But I mean, it's every time I go in, I know I'm going to be hearing at least something different. Even if I see them back-to-back nights, I'm going to get some sort of different set. So
yeah, start with Hello, start with Good, or end with Good Night, and everything else in the middle mixes up a little bit. So
I mean, recently they've been opening with Dream Please.
Which, really?
They did that a bit in the 80s, but they've been bringing it back a little bit. So
Awesome.
yeah.
How many times have you seen them? I'm curious.
Just like the members, or just Cheap Trick?
Just Cheap Trick.
I think I'm at 32 or 33.
That's not bad.
That's awesome.
So no, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
No,
Not bad.
it could be so much worse.
Like, it's not like I've been to one band 51 times. It's all good.
Just like a blue something.
I don't know what you're talking about. Moving
Something
on.
with like
It's
a
your-
rodeo. I don't.
It's your turn to show a record now.
Yeah, there you go.
Was it mine?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm changing the topic. You see that?
So we are gonna look at. I love this album. We're gonna look at one of my favorite guitarists of all time, and favorite bands of all time. Now I like all the different eras of this band, and I know Rob's gonna enjoy this. I think, but one of my favorite guitarists of all time, specifically blues guitarists. We're gonna be looking at Blues Roots before they went mainstream, and this is the full weekend edition. They've released a bunch of different versions of this, but I have the 4 LP set, and that is Fleetwood Mac live at Boston Tea Party 1970. Peter Green, one of my favorite guitarists of all time. You have Jeremy Spencer, which is underrated, great slide guitarist. You have Danny Kerwin, John McVie, Mick Fleetwood. It doesn't get better than this lineup. They do one of my favorite songs off of here that they do is Jumping at Shadows. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable rendition of that song. They have those like intense extended jams in here. Rattlesnake Shakes on here. I Can't Hold Out is wonderful on here. But like I said, they've released different versions and expanded editions of this. This one's the 4 LP set. But Peter Green's guitar work just shines on this. So yeah, I love Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac. The chemistry on this album is fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy to think too that there is a entire generation that if you put that on and said it was Fleetwood Mac, they go, "No, it wasn't. No, what are you talking about? No, it isn't. What? Yeah.
No,
But
I love Peter Green.
Well, it's one of the things I love about that band, because I don't think of it as a band. I think of it more like a musical collective, because there's so many. There's Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac, and then there was that transitional lineup after Peter Green left when Christine joined, before Stevie and Lindsay. Then there's the Rumors era. Then there's the post Lindsay, Behind the Mask lineup, and then there's that one-off lineup for Time with Dave Mason and Becca Bramlett. Then there's the reunited lineup, and then there's the lineup with Mike Campbell and Neil. There's so many different versions of Fleetwood Mac, and I love them all for very different. But Peter Green's version is amazing, of course.
Yeah,
of course. And there's so much good live stuff that's available, both officially released, and there's a lot of bootlegs of it out there too, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, just raw energy. And like I said, on these particular recordings, the chemistry of the band is, I don't think you have any other recording that's better than Boston Tea Party.
Yep, agreed, 100%.
Good stuff.
James saying, I was introduced to Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac on the Chain box set. Yep, that's what I grew up listening to. That was the first Fleetwood Mac I heard, was Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, because Dad was a huge fan, and I still have his albums that he had from back in the day. So, yeah, good stuff. Joe,
yeah. So I never found what I was looking for. I think it's over there, and I'm not going to go. But it was just going to be part of a twofer. So for me, a lot of the times, if I'm just sitting around and screwing around on my iPad or whatever, I'll throw YouTube on and listen to some songs. And obviously, there's the original versions, but a lot of the time, it's fun to hear either an acoustic version, a different version, a collaboration, things like that. So I think that the impetus for that comes from songs and things like this. We talked about MTV. We talked about Kiss. You had your Eric Clapton MTV Unplugged out a little while ago. I have the Pearl Jam one. That's what I couldn't find. It's over there somewhere. The Alice in Chains one is a great one. So the impetus of these bands doing different versions of their songs and doing them really well, and especially with not especially with this one, but on this one, obviously doing the David Bowie covers and things like that. It was a really great series, and say the stupid thing back when MTV played music, which is a true statement. It's an overused statement, but it is a true statement because there was some great programming, and you can find a lot of these in some streaming versions, and or of course there's all the DVDs and there's the Blu-rays, and there's probably some different versions out there now. But like I said, I've got this one. I actually don't have the Kiss one. I don't think. I can't remember if I do or not. But I've got the Nirvana one or the Pearl Jam one as well. So it's always interesting to hear the different versions of the songs. I love the originals, but they did a great job, I think, on all of these Unplugged. And you said so yourself, Rob. That was one of your favorites. Is that Clapton one, or that's maybe one of the first things you bought? So that would have been
might be in my pile here.
Might be coming up. Then we'll just leave it at that. So, but yeah, some good stuff, and a little, I guess, a little different version of a live album. Not really, but again, all taped at one location and one venue for sure. I think, unless there's a lot of stand-up comedians that they wear the exact same thing and they do the exact same bits. But if you're watching the audience, the people in the front row change from time to time. So sometimes even the stand-up comedians do a couple of different sets doing the same stuff, but it hit better and things like that. So I get picking the night that was the best sound or the best crowd and things like that. So I get that. But with the MTV Unplugs, you got that one. I don't think they ever recorded those more than the one time. So, and they sound good. Again, they sound good because they knew that there was going to be the album versions of, or the CD versions of as well. So
James says David Bowie has a great Unplugged type live album called Changes Now Bowie.
I
don't know that one.
I think I have that one. I don't know. Joanne is obviously, as you can tell, and I pointed out before, is a massive Dave fan. So she had a lot. I had a few that I brought to the table, and there's a few that I found. So we may have that, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Daryl, you're up.
Yeah. So my next pick, I wouldn't say that it's like it's definitely taken at multiple different locations. I've talked about this one a couple of weeks ago. And it was recorded, well, not recorded in, it was recorded in the late 70s as a tribute, but it's live performances that were done when this musician came to Canada, and he only toured Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal back in the 1950s. I mentioned this.
Where you're going.
Only other country in the world that he toured in was Canada. And I have to go with the Elvis Canadian Gold. Because I don't have any of his other live albums. And if there is a musician that, if he was still alive today, that I wish I could have got to see back in time or even now, I mean, even if you don't like his music 100%, I mean, to me, just being there and seeing this guy perform would have been crazy. And the fact that, they called it gold and they put the gold album there. Yeah. I mean, this album comes with press conferences, and there's a live version of Jailhouse Rock and all that kind of stuff when he was in Canada. I just think it's a cool album. It's not like Joe with his last one. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a true live album in the sense of a full concert or anything like that. But I mean, really, it's at least from a Canadian perspective, I mean, this is a piece of history. He's never going to tour here again. He's never going to tour anywhere again for that matter. But, to be able to have that. And for me, it's a sentimental value too. I mean, my dad had that when I was a kid. He used to pull it out all the time. So I had to bring the Elvis Gold onto the show today. So yeah, Elvis Canadian tribute. That's my second one.
That's
a good one.
Yep.
Since you showed it, I've been looking for it. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll find it at some point. So since Emma went here with Fleetwood Mac, I'm going to do Fleetwood Mac too. But I'm going the other end of the spectrum, just for fun. I'm going to show this one because I think it's important. going to go with The Dance from 1997.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, right? Because this is the first time that the Rumors era lineup had played together in almost a little over a decade, I think, since probably the Mirage Tour, I think. This was great. This was just like a one night only. It was for a TV special, and they filmed it at the studios in Santa Barbara. And it was great to have the hit-making lineup, back together, performing those hits again. And there's chemistry. They sound great. And the ending is awesome. They play Tusk, and out comes the USC marching band. It's so good. So I think it's better than any of this lineup's contribution to the Fleetwood Mac discography because it's live, and it's better live than studio albums. And its historical significance, I think that this is just absolutely fantastic for different reasons than the Peter Green one is fantastic. But I thought I would show this, and as kind of an addendum to that, this just came out last week. Fleetwood Mac, the Mirage Tour 82. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 3 LP. They did 2 shows, October 21st and 22nd, 1982, at the Forum in Inglewood, California. So this is the best of those 2 shows. It's 3 discs, and it's like 19 or 20 songs. So it's the full show. Wow, is it good? It's really, really good. And there's stuff in here that has never been released before. There's stuff on here that I haven't heard them do live before. Different for a whole other reason, because, that was a TV special, but still live. This is a concert from a tour, but a tour that I didn't have really anything from other than what was on their Fleetwood Mac live record a while back. But this is really good. Love it. So my Fleetwood Mac twofer for the evening. So.
Yeah, I didn't know that a new one just came out.
Yeah, like literally, I think last week it came out. So
okay,
they didn't do much to announce it. I just saw something on their social media that it was out, and it was in my local record store when I was there yesterday. So I grabbed it. It's great. They did a great job on it.
Yeah, aren't there? And I hate to say rumors, but aren't there rumors about some sort of reunion in the works or something going on?
There's rumblings.
Something weird with their social media, I think, right?
I hope so. When Christine died, they said, "Oh, it can't be Fleetwood Mac without Christine." But I'm like, you recorded and toured the Say You Will album without Christine.
Right, yeah.
And she didn't play with the band for 15 years, so why couldn't you?
Yeah. I can totally see it happening.
I want to see them.
I also wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, but I could totally see it happening. And speaking of the dance, that version of Silver Springs on there.
Oof.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing.
That's my favorite.
That's a killer song to begin with.
Let alone that. Yeah.
I'd love to see them live one more time. I've seen them twice. Like to see them one more time. And I don't even care who the lineup is. I want to see them again.
You'll take Mike Campbell again.
I would actually love that. I never saw that lineup of the band. I saw the full Rumors lineup, and I saw the Rumors lineup minus Christine. I would happily see Mike Campbell because I've never seen Mike Campbell in concert, so I'd be all for that. That'd be fantastic.
I just saw him in June touring the new album, so really good.
I'm tempted because he's coming to town. He's part of some tribute show for Robbie Robertson, and it's him and a bunch of other folks, and they're playing in Toronto. And I go, I'm tempted because it's Mike Campbell, and it's the music of Robbie Robertson, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, so we'll see. Let's see here. Whereabouts was I? I'm way behind in the comments. Look at this. Hold on.
I remember you triggered something, and I don't remember exactly where. It might have been on Carson. I remember Fleetwood Mac playing Tusk and the whole USC marching band coming out and walking around in the audience and things like that. I don't think it was from that special. I don't know if I would have watched the whole special, but I remember them bringing the band out more than once, whether it was Carson or I don't know if Letterman would have been at that point. Maybe, yeah, he would.
Yeah,
have been
I think it was Letterman.
Yeah. So
Record Hound says the whole Unplugged series turned me on to a few artists. I think it did for a lot of folks.
yeah, it was just well done. Yeah.
Colonel Tom Parker robbed Elvis of an international audience. Yeah, he was a sketchy guy.
In a history of pieces of shit in the music industry, he's right up there, I think.
Yeah,
I
Yes.
you know, you kind of think, what could his career have been if he hadn't spent 15 years making shitty movies?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And arguably, I mean, he's still the king of rock and roll. I mean, he forever changed music, but what could have been? Who knows? The early Elvis Vegas shows are great. I've got some Elvis Vegas on vinyl. It's so good.
Yeah, I think if I could pick a show to go to, it would have been one of those early Vegas shows, not necessarily the later shows, but the early Vegas, right when he kind of, when he got in shape and was actually, I mean, he gave a shit the whole time he was in Vegas, but yeah, some of those early ones I bet would have been a fantastic show to see.
There might be some Elvis coming up here in a little bit. Record On says Red Robinson was a radio legend, if not only for his Elvis in Canada collection. I saw that on PBS recently. Pretty good show. Thanks for the good choices. Sometimes we make good choices.
Everyone.
Like records. I think the deluxe Fleetwood Mac live is really good. Yes, it is. Can't stop coughing. Sorry. 42 years ago today for that Fleetwood Mac. Yes. Fleetwood Mac's greatest hits is one of the final 8 tracks produced by a record club in 1988. Didn't know that.
Did not know that. I don't know if I have that one somewhere. I got a few 8 tracks around, but I don't know.
I've never owned an 8-track in my life. Oh, thankfully.
Yeah. That it was a really lousy format of music because they didn't bother. If the middle of the song was the middle of that first quarter, it just changed and you got a big clunk, and yeah, it was not good. But they sold a bunch, so
we didn't even have cassettes. It was vinyl and then CDs, and I just kept going with vinyl. So, here I am, some guy on YouTube talking about records.
That's right.
Speaking of Elvis and Halloween, I'm trying to find, this would be a Northern Revolution's exclusive. I dressed up as Elvis for Halloween when I was like 10.
Nice.
So I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Yeah, you got to find that.
Guess what I dressed up when I was a kid? Go ahead, guess.
I don't know. Kiss.
Which one though? Yeah.
Kiss.
Yeah, which one? Ace.
Yeah.
Ace.
Ace, yeah.
Yes.
It was Ace, yeah.
Got it.
No, I think I'm okay. I got enough shit in my office that takes up room, but thanks for the offer.
All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready. Hold on. Let's
Never
let's
before
nice.
seen Baby Ate Vinyl Low. I was, I think, maybe 9 or 10 years old. I went through an Elvis phase, as you can see here. We'll see if you can see it. I don't know if it'll. Oh, it's not showing up. Here, let's see if I put this down a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you
Look
go.
at that.
Now you can see
That's
it.
awesome.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's fantastic.
It's funny. I even remember like going to the store to get that costume. So I don't remember trick or treating, but I remember that costume.
Costumes are more fun than the trick or treating anyway.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I have a kid, so I can still put on a costume at Halloween.
That's why I teach.
There you go.
I can wear it at school, or like homecoming week. We have dress up days and stuff like that. And I went to Elton John this year for one of our dress up days because it was dress your initial. So for Emma, I was Elton John.
There you go. Like it. Coincidentally, you're on the big screen, so it's your turn.
All right. Speaking of some of my favorite guitarists, another blues rock guitarist that I absolutely love. We can't talk about live albums without talking about 1974, Rory Gallagher, Irish Tour 1974, his tour of Northern Ireland during a time of political unrest and turmoil in the country. Very unique time for Rory to be touring Northern Ireland, but I think it also shows that kind of power of music, which is definitely an important take from this release. But I mean, this album definitely cemented his legacy, I think, for a lot of people. Cradle Rock it opens with. I love the version of Tattooed Lady on here. So unbelievably great. As the Crow Flies, A Million Miles Away is on here. So in terms of favorite guitarists, you have Peter Green. Rory Gallagher is definitely up there for me as well. So definitely passionate delivery from him on this album.
Solid pick.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then real quickly, I also pulled, now this isn't necessarily like a live album in the sense of like a concert or anything. And we kind of talked a little bit about that. This is a radio broadcast that came out for Record Store Day. And this is my favorite Rory release in my collection. But this came out a couple of years ago. They put out 2 parts. This was the first part, Cleveland Calling Part 1. And then the second part was a live kind of electric concert show. This one is a radio broadcast, and I can't remember the radio station, but he basically sits down and plays about 8 or 9 songs, just acoustically singing and doing an interview on here. In terms of like sound quality, this is unbelievable. So yeah, I highly recommend checking this out if you're a fan of Rory Gallagher. This is a phenomenal release. So
Awesome.
John says that's a nice copy of Rory Gallagher 74. He goes, he's got a beat up copy, but it works. And
if it works, it works.
James says Rory live in Europe and that live album are both fantastic.
Yes.
All right, Joe.
All right. So just in case, and I don't think it's ever going to be the case, but just in case someone watches this or is watching that doesn't know what an 8-track tape looks like, that's what an 8-track tape looks like. And this is typically what they did, this shit, where they'd come out and then you had to try and get back in there and tuck it back in and stuff. So
do you still play them, Joe?
You know what? I had an 8-track player as soon or as recent ago as a couple years, but then I gave it away. So no, because it is a horrible format. It really is. But I hung on to those 2, so I've got a few around. But yeah. So much like earlier where Emma started with the opener and I had the headliner, she started in with, and we didn't plan this, she started in with blues guitar players, and this happens to just be the next one up on my list, and that is this blues guitar player and Live Alive. So Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. Again, I don't need to tell anybody about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Obviously lost him way too early. The one story I'll tell a little bit is I didn't get a chance. I was working, so I didn't get a chance the one time he played in Regina forever ago. I didn't get a chance to go to the show because I was working, but I got off, and after the show, or after I got off work, a couple of buddies and I went to a bar. There was a ZZ Top cover band. They were called Fandango. They were playing, and we're sitting there and we're drinking beer, and this dude walks in, and I'd already been a couple beers in, and it hadn't dawned on me, but he had a poncho and he had this hat on, and it was like, oh shit, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan. So he comes walking in the door, and then I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with Colin James or not, but I know that the boys are. I don't know, Emma, if you're familiar with Colin James, another very good blues guitar player out of Regina. Anyway, this was 25, 30 years ago, if not more, because I was still drinking. Anyway, so Colin lived in Regina, so he met Stevie Ray Vaughan at this bar that night. Then everybody went up with the ZZ Top cover band and played a couple of songs. So
you're full of shit. That did not happen. No way.
It did. No, I swear it did. There's tall tales to be told of it, and I was drunk, but it's a true story.
And John Lennon bought me a slushie at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, no, he did not. No, he did not. But But no, it
Holy
is true.
shit.
Honest to Christ. So I don't remember what they played. They did like 3 songs. So I didn't get to see the full Stevie Ray Vaughan show, but I still got to see him with the ZZ Top cover band and Colin James all play 3 songs at a bar. And I was not as drunk to remember it or not remember it, but I don't remember what they played. But it's true. Honest to Christ, you can ask other people because other people besides me were there. But Live Alive, any Stevie Ray Vaughan album is good, but this is also good because he is definitely a guy that lends himself to the live. He doesn't stretch out the guitar solos insanely, but you get a little extra Stevie Ray Vaughan playing guitar on the live album. So there you go. And I swear to God, and hands to God, not that I'm a believer necessarily, but that happened. It did. It was at a bar called the Paddock here in Regina in 80 something.
Are you sure it wasn't just Rob with a wig and a hat?
It was, and a
Well,
poncho.
1987, Rob would have been a wee bit younger.
A little bit.
Rob
bit.
would
at
have
that
been in
point.
about grade 3. So
So yeah,
Wow.
and if you want something to seek out, Colin James. It's good stuff. Sometimes he gets a little jazzy with his big band, but there's other good Colin James stuff. Sometimes he's a little rock. Sometimes he's a lot more bluesy. And he's got a new album either out or coming out as well. So yeah, good stuff. If you get a chance, check it out.
that's an unbelievable story, Joe.
Yeah,
Like-
and I swear that it's true.
The only thing that would top that is the guy who says, I was having a beer at the Alma Combo the night the Stones stopped in to play just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. Just because, yeah, exactly. So
Wow.
yeah, it was cool. It was great. Like I said, I wish I could remember what they played, but I don't. It doesn't matter if
Doesn't
they played
matter.
whatever. They might have even played like a ZZ Top song. I don't know what it because yeah, but it was great. It was really good.
Wow. I'm gobsmacked by that story.
Yeah, it was good.
Wow. Okay, Daryl, try and top that.
That's not happening on this one.
No.
This one's kind of I don't think I've ever seen anybody show this guy in the VC, not to my knowledge. The reason being is you gotta like 1970s easy listening type music, but this is a pretty famous live album. The only issue I have with this live album is that it doesn't have my favorite song by this artist. Very cheesy stuff coming up right now, but I mean, I had to go with at the Uris Theater 1976, I think it was, in New York City, and that's Barry Manilow and his live album.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs by him is I Write the Songs, and it's on here. I just wish that Mandy was on here. I mean, I think my brother has seen him actually live. I think he came to Canada, or my brother might have been down south and visiting a friend in Texas. But no, it's pretty cool stuff. I mean, he's not for everyone. I like Barry Manilow just when I'm in that mood for just chilling. But just like if you look even at the cover, I mean, he's just there as like a stage presence, right? He's there in his sparkly, glittery clothes and, shouting out to the audience and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's not like he's doing venues of like 100 people. We're talking, a few thousand people here. So he puts on a good show, got some good music, not for everyone. And unfortunately, this is where my journey of my live albums ends because I don't have any more. So going forward, it's going to be one live performance that I definitely went to by a specific band. And then after that, I'm going to show some bands that I think, based on what I've seen on TV, have some pretty crazy stage presence, especially these arena rockers that I'll be showing in a few minutes. Yeah.
Now, Daryl, can you recreate that album cover for us?
I wish I could. Go. Yeah, I've got the yellow, right?
All the resemblance.
Let's do the Barry Manilow. Yeah. Hey man, I have that album. I don't know if it was mine or if it was Joanne's, but I have that album. And Barry, if there is such a thing as a what's the word I'm looking for? I listened to it. It's not a bad album. A guilty pleasure. That's the word. 2 words. 2 words, Joe. With teachers in 2 words. guilty pleasure. Barry is definitely a guilty pleasure, and he epitomizes 70s gold. So if you're in that mood, he's good, and he writes some good songs. He really does. So yeah, no shame in Barry, man. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you segue very nicely into what I'm going to show. Speaking of
Perfect.
70s gold, Neil
Yep.
fucking Diamond.
That's what I thought he was going to show. So yeah, there you go.
Neil's the man. I think Neil is the best. This is Love at the Greek. So it's recorded live at the Greek Theater in, I don't know, probably 76 because it says a date on it of 77, I'm guessing. He had a bunch of live albums. Hot August Night, Hot August Night 2, Hot August Night 3. He's got a lot of live stuff. But this is Live at the Greek. And I like it better than Hot August Night, to be quite honest. Something about Neil. There he is. Speaking of, look at this. He's got his shimmery shirt on there. And, the man writes great songs. He's a great singer. As a stage presence, I was lucky enough to see Neil like 15 years ago. And he was awesome. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. But this is a great live record. Produced by Robbie Robertson, of all people, which I thought to be kind of interesting. But what I like about Neil, there's no bullshit, right? It's him singing with a band. But there's no light show. There's no fireworks. There's no parading hippopotamuses. There's no bullshit. It's just.
What are you watching, Rob?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Some weird stuff, I guess. I just love how the man commands an audience just with his songs. And I think of all the Neil Diamond live albums I've heard, this is really, really good. I mean, he's got some of the hits on it, right? Kentucky Woman, Sweet Caroline, Song Sung Blue, Holly Holy, and a bunch of other, sort of deep cut stuff. But for my pick, by a great concert provider, I think this is his best. Neil Diamond's in Love at the Greek.
Good stuff.
Neil Diamond's fantastic.
Oh, he's awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad I got to see him. When I saw him, he was like his early 70s, I think, because I think he's almost 80 now. Maybe he's in his late 60s. But at any rate, came out with the black shirt on and had the sequins on, so he kind of sparkled. But his voice was just so good. I just walk around the stage, and I just loved it. It was awesome.
And Sweet Caroline used to be my alma mater, University of Windsor's hockey goal scoring song.
Nice.
So I got to listen to a lot of Neil Diamond over 4 years.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes.
SRV live at Montreux was very good, especially 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Julie likes your stories, Joe.
Yep.
Stones, Alma Congo. Speaking of live albums, yeah. I'm not a Stones fan, but apparently that's a pretty good one.
I didn't pull the that's a good venue too. I didn't pull it, but April Wine did El Macombo as well. They've got a live album out of
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. John saying one night playing I Want You to Want Me with my band, he looked up and saw Robin Zander sitting at the bar. He apologized to him afterwards. That's great.
That's hilarious.
Can you
Hey,
imagine?
John, while you're here and we're doing live albums, you guys keep talking. I'm going to grab something for John.
Can you imagine though?
Billy
You're,
Joel.
you're
Hey,
singing,
you know
and then you look over and you go, "Oh fuck, is that Robin Zander?" And you keep singing the song, and then you look again. Oh shit, that is.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, John, here. This one's for you. Billy Joel live at Carnegie Hall, 77.
Awesome.
There you
1977.
go.
This was Record Store Day a handful of years ago, and I think maybe it ended up getting a release in a box set or something. But I have the Record Store Day, June 3rd, 1977, Carnegie Hall. This is actually now. I don't know. Are you guys? Listen, do we like Billy Joel in this chat? Or
He's fine.
are we the boo Billy Joel people?
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
All good with me.
I love Billy Joel. But this is such a great live. I can't believe that I missed this. And then John showed up and it just sparked something in me. So, yeah, so good. So good.
I'm still
Dan
trying
is
to.
saying that Billy Joel has a Live in Moscow album that is excellent.
Live in was that
Yeah,
the
that's the one where I think he goes off a little bit because they're screwing with him, right? We talked a little bit about that with John, where he's trying to play. I can't remember exactly the song, and they're like screwing with the lights and screwing with the volume.
Stop
And
lighting
he's
the audience. Oh, I
Just
didn't
let me-
want to do it, but I got too lonely. Yeah.
just let me play my song, and he's pissed off.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have walking around the music room here. I think I have that. Let's see. Yeah. Billy Joel,
there you go.
1987, Matter of Trust. Yeah, this documentary
Mhm.
and concert video, but this documentary is fantastic. Great music doc.
I think
See,
Billy is
John-
going to be my next. Go ahead.
John's happy now. It was
Yeah.
in his first collection box. Great live album. Yep. There we go.
Awesome.
All right. Whose turn is it now? I completely lost whose turn it is. Daryl, are you up
Emma,
next?
where-
I think it's
Oh,
it's
it's Joe's
Joe's.
turn. Joe's turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jeez.
what can I
Yeah.
follow up Billy Joel with? Okay, I'll do male artists. How about that? That's as close as I can come to follow Emma this time. And it's one that I am super, super excited about seeing in about a month. And it is this guy and
Oh,
this album.
I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous.
Yeah, me
I
too.
honest to Christ, I put it on and I just listened to all 5 in a row because it is well done. It's it's Bruce when he used to do the 18-hour shows. It's everything that you want. I mean, for those that don't know, there's the back. So there's all the songs you get, and it is 5 discs, but you get the 20-minute version of Thunder Road, and you get all the live Bruce Springsteen that you could want. There's a fantastic book that comes along with it as well. I mean, we all know what Bruce looks like, but there you go. There's Bruce Springsteen in all his glory. He's got the big old stars and stripes behind him. But it's just a fantastic box set, and it's usually not that much money either. You can pick this up for usually a fairly reasonable price, considering that it's a 5-disc set. So I had this. I bought the CD player. I bought the CD box set version of this, and I bought the Dire Straits CD. The CD player cost me $1,000 back in the day, and then those were my first CDs that I ever bought. But yeah, so I'm going to see Bruce a couple of times next month. Can't wait. He is the artist that I have listened to the longest that I have not seen yet, and I am super excited. From what I understand, it's still a fantastic show. I don't think it's quite the 70s Bruce Springsteen show, and then obviously no Clarence, but still I am really, really looking forward to it in Winnipeg and Edmonton. For those that might watch this, say hello if you see me there. I'll be the guy singing along to every song. So
I'm so jealous about that. I wanted to go see him when he played this past summer in Chicago, and I didn't go.
yeah, I think Billy is going to be my go and travel somewhere to see a musician next year. Him and
Nice.
Sting are playing Salt Lake City, which might be kind of cool
Yeah.
in May, I think. So maybe something like that. Although I think he announced a Canadian date as well, but that would mean going to Toronto. So
Yeah,
not
I've only seen Billy once. I saw him I think when he started touring again, maybe 2014. I saw him play Wrigley Field in Chicago.
yeah,
So
awesome.
yeah, that was a great show. That was one where I told myself maybe a couple years prior, like, if Billy ever tours again, I'm gonna go. And then he announced that tour like a couple years later, and I'm like, I bought tickets right away for that. And I wanted to do that with Springsteen, but I ended up just putting it off, and then I didn't go. So I'm sure I'm gonna regret that one.
Yeah. Ultimately, I probably should have went to something at Madison Square Gardens because that's like his place, right?
Yeah.
You see Billy Joel in Madison Square Gardens, but I didn't get a chance to. So I do want to try next year. And I think Stevie's with them on a couple of dates, but I think it's Sting in Salt Lake City, and that's maybe where we're going to go. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't show that box because I figured you were going to pull it, Joe, because I knew you were going to see him. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the new documentary that's coming out on. Is that going to be on Netflix or wherever the
I
hell
think
it's on?
so. Yeah, I can't remember for sure, but it'll be. I mean, there's obviously lots to cover for sure. So
Yes. James says Bruce still does very long concerts. Yeah,
yeah, I don't think they're 4 hours, which some of them used to be, but
I think
they're
there's 3.
they're more than 2 and about 3-ish. So
Yeah.
I just can't wait. I lay awake at night sometimes. I'm looking forward to that so much because it's almost within a month now. So I'm yeah, and I know he's not going to disappoint. I understand he's still great. So yeah, that's the other nice thing too is wondering, oh my God, is he not going to sound good? Is he not? No, but he's supposed to still sound fantastic. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Plus the
Cool.
band is amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know the band is great when the backing band alone gets inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. These band, hey, you get in all
Right?
on your own. Yeah,
Exactly. And deservedly so. They're incredible. So
yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, to see Max and little Steven and all of that. I mean, that's the thing. I watched him in an interview that he did with Luke Ryan, not Luke Bryan. I can't remember it's a new country artist. They got together and they did an interview, and it's like, yep, it's the guys that I've known since high school. It's just the same dudes. We just go out. We went away for a little while. We've come back, and yeah. So other than Clarence not being there, that's the only thing that would have been kind of the icing on the cake if Clarence was still in the band. So
and Patty's not playing with them either because she's recovering from cancer.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yes,
He still
and
comes
yes,
up
John,
occasionally
I
to
lie
sing
awake,
tougher than the rest usually.
Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say I lie awake and dream of Bruce at night. I don't have a problem with that. I'm good with that. So yeah, whatever.
There is a possibility that Bruce might show up on my list later on as part of my what I think a concert should be, guys.
All right.
There you go. Yeah.
On that note, Daryl, it's your turn.
All right. So my question to all of you, I mean, I know because I've only seen a handful of concerts in my life. So I remember the first one that I ever went to. Do you guys remember the very first one you ever went to as a kid?
I do.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned the story. I can't remember if I mentioned it on your channel or not, Rob. I definitely mentioned it in a video of my own. When I was like 11 or 12, we were visiting family in Quebec City. And for some reason, my parents brought me and my brother to, I was just looking it up. It's called the Agora in Quebec City. It reminds me almost like a Coliseum. At least that's what it looked like to me when I was a kid. And this band was 20 years plus into their careers. But I remember this like it was yesterday, and they put on such a really good stage presence. It is the first time in my life that I smelled weed. First time I saw people getting hammered in the stands. Oddly enough, it was an Emerson, Lake and Palmer concert.
Cool.
And ever
Very
since
cool.
then, I mean, I have this one's trilogy. I remember when they did Lucky Man. Lucky Man was like one of the craziest songs they did on stage. But I wouldn't say I have all their stuff. This one here, the Welcome Back, My Friends to the Show That Never Ends. I guess this would be more theatrical, more of a live-ish type thing. So I have a lot of their stuff. The Works. This one here is Pictures at the Exhibition. And by far the worst album they ever did is Love Beach. This is terrible. I don't even know why I still have this, but I guess I just have it for nostalgia. And then my favorite one is the Brain Salad Surgery. And you can open it up. It's a pretty cool looking album. So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if they're still touring and stuff like that, but Emerson, Lake and Palmer, if they're touring, give them a chance, give them a shot. It was a pretty cool, at least for an 11 or 12-year-old kid, a pretty cool concert. I got dragged to it, never heard of them. And then I was like, hey, these guys are pretty cool. So you got to go with ELP on this one.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very good.
Yeah, I fell asleep at my first concert, but I remember at least the second half of it. So I think I told this. Rob, were you there when I told this story? Okay. Yeah. But I went to go see Jim Peterick in the Ides of March. And Jim Peterick, he's been part of so many different bands, most notably Survivor. He co-wrote Eye of the Tiger. And that was a song that I actually woke up to, and I was like, okay, this is music. I get it now. But I do remember that first half of the show, or I really don't remember it because I was completely passed out in the back row of that concert venue. But then I woke up and it changed my life.
Yeah. I've been passed out at a concert before. I fell asleep at the first song and I woke up for the encore. So
were you a few barley sandwiches deep there, Joe?
Just two. I'm a lightweight. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It was Nazareth, actually, which happened to also be my first concert. That's not the same time seeing Nazareth. Nazareth was my first concert that I saw. This was later, where I fell asleep. I saw the opener. I don't remember who the opener was, but I saw the opener, and then I don't remember much of Nazareth. So, but I've seen him before, so it was okay.
Okay. What am I going to show? I'm going to show one no one's heard of. Because why not? Because
Sure.
it's that good of a live album. Well, Joe's probably heard of these guys. Matt Mays. You've heard me talk about
Yep.
them, Joe.
Yep.
This fulfills my CanCon requirements. Matt Mays, a rocker from Nova Scotia. This is a live album he put out called From Burnside with Love. It's essentially like an MTV Unplugged. Basically, that's what it was. It's his band who's very, very, very loud electric rock. They sat down and did an acoustic show and brought in a pedal steel player and a fiddle player. Fiddle player is a friend of mine. And they recorded this in Quebec and then sat on it for about a year or so. And then when the COVID pandemic hit and we were all in lockdown, they had filmed it as like a concert film. So they did like a live online, premiere screening of this that you could buy a ticket for. And then they 3 LP vinyl. That's Matt and the band there. And it's a career spanning acoustic discography. And it is absolutely one of my favorite live albums of all time. You'll probably never see it in a record store. I mean, it's not impossible to find, but nobody's going to stock it. But it's obscure. No one's heard of it, and that's fine. But if we're talking live albums, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about one of my favorite Canadians. Not that other band, but this band.
I have a question, though.
Yeah,
I have a question. Why did it stop being Matt Mays and El Torpedo? Because that was like the big album, right? And then after that, like anytime you show stuff, it's not Matt Mays and El Torpedo. And I don't remember if it said that on the cover of the first couple or not. But
so the first album was just Matt Mays. The second album was the self-titled Matt Mays and El Torpedo. The third album was the Angels album. I can't remember the title of the album. And that was Matt Mays and El Torpedo. And then Terminal Romance, I think, was Matt Mays and El Torpedo. And then El Torpedo as a band broke up.
okay.
But Matt continued. He was the front man, and they were backing him. A lot of them were his friends. But when El Torpedo broke up, a couple of the guys from El Torpedo stayed with him, but not enough to continue calling themselves El Torpedo. And Matt wasn't part of El Torpedo. That was just his backing band.
Okay. Cool.
So,
yeah,
Jay Smith and Adam Baldwin were the guys from El Torpedo that stayed with him. So.
Right, and you've talked about Adam a lot. I just wasn't sure when it changed to just being back to Matt Mays, right?
It was after the Terminal Romance album when they released Coyote, which was the one that he won the Rock Album of the Year for.
Right. Okay. Cool. Good.
But that with Burnside from Love is amazing because the first song is Downtown, which is the first single off the first album, and then it just chronologically goes through his entire career up to like 2020 when this was recorded. So it's very, very good.
Cool.
And it's just like Unplugged. I mean, some of these songs like Cocaine Cowgirl, you can't really imagine that with a fiddle and a pedal steel,
Yeah.
but it works. So
Good. That's good.
there you go. Nothing else obscure. Everything else people have heard of. So.
Man,
good question.
we got to go for about 3 more hours if I'm going to show everything that I pulled
Yeah,
out.
same here. Same here.
Right.
Dan wants to know if the
Rapid
Sam
fire
Roberts Band is known in the States. Have you heard of the Sam Roberts Band, Emma? Probably not.
No.
Another East Coast rock band.
East Coast Rossman. Okay.
Okay, let's buzz through a few comments here. I don't remember exactly where we were. James says his first concert was the Monkees at Ontario Place Forum in '89. Dan's was Prism and Loverboy. That'd be a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that
Ours
tour.
was the Jay
I saw
Giles Band.
that tour. Yeah. That tour, Prism and Loverboy, I thought that was kind of right when Loverboy first came out, and I thought they kind of blew away Prism, and I was a big Prism fan, so I remember that
I love
tour.
Mike Reno.
Yes.
Mike's
As
good.
soon as I saw this comment, I remembered that that Palmer's the only one left. Yeah.
Dan says a friend of his didn't even make it to the concert because he drank all day getting prepped. Jeez.
I don't know,
I've been there.
I've never done that, but
Hey, Dave.
I've been there.
yeah.
And hey, Mark. How you
Mark.
doing? All right. Go around the horn again. Emma, you're up.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of blues, we're gonna go in a little slightly different direction, kind of moving away from British blues and Irish blues. One of the best live blues albums, one of my favorites, and I pulled another one too that I really enjoy as well. But I cannot talk about live albums without talking about B.B. King live at the Regal, 1964 at the Regal Theater in Chicago. His vocals on here are just incredible. I don't know how old he was here, maybe in his 30s or something like that, but this is as prime as you can get with B.B. King. I think it captures him at like the height of his powers in a way. So this is such a great album, specifically Sweet Little Angel on here and How Blue Can You Get? So unbelievably great. So I pulled this, but another album that I love, live album that I love by B.B. King, mostly because of the audience interactions. Now, it's not the same as like Folsom Prison or anything like that, Johnny Cash, but B.B. King live at the Cook County Jail is another great live B.B. King release. This one's a little later. I think it's 71. Yeah, it's 71. But just so good. Love B.B. King.
I was listening to one a little while ago. It's him live at Ole Miss at I think the football stadium. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean B.B. King just lends himself to the live, doesn't he? Right? So,
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah. You're on mute. There you go.
B.B. King to me is kind of like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still
It's
really
still
good.
good.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there
for
any
sure.
bad B.B. King? I've yet to hear any.
No.
I always, whenever I hear, I just go, that's good. That's good.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Agreed. Agreed.
Joe, what do you got?
Yeah. I'm not going to go with B.B. King. Like I said, I just got a whole bunch here. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. So there's been a few bands that have done it. I think the first one, maybe not, but Procol Harum did it. Tom Cochrane and Red Rider did it.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Kiss did it. But I'm not going with the Kiss one. I'm going with a little S&M. We're going to get a little naughty here and go with S&M, a little Metallica, the symphony and Metallica. So, yeah, Procol Harum did it with the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. I believe Tom Cochrane's was also with the Edmonton Symphony
I
Orchestra.
think so.
Probably the same. There might have been some of the same players. Kiss did it in Australia with their orchestra. I saw Styx actually do a really good one with Gowan. It was Styx, and it was almost a high school band that was really good as well. But anyway, this is the one that I decided. So it's Metallica with the symphony, and it really lends itself really well actually to their music. You wouldn't think if you hadn't heard it like Metallica and then symphony music, but especially stuff like Enter Sandman and Nothing Else Matters, like the stuff you would think goes well with the symphony goes really well with the symphony, and then everything else is just awesome. So yeah, just really good. And I found this in a record store in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, a couple of years ago when I was there for Blues Fest. I was surprised because I haven't seen it a whole bunch of times. And don't know if this is a reissue or not, but and as you can see, it's got really nice inner and outer sleeves that are bought from a place, and I don't remember where exactly that place is, but they are Canadian as well, I think.
Oh, are you talking about Vinyl Storage Solutions, Joe?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah. Well, you should, if you need record sleeves, go to vinylstoragesolutions.ca. Use promo code Northern10 for 10% off your order. I should be giving you a cut of my commission check. Is that what you're asking for, Joe?
That's okay. I used to I don't as much anymore, but I used to do a lot of announcing for stock car racing, and so I always made sure that I got the sponsors in there because it's part of the gig. So we got.
This is not sponsored because I have to tell YouTube this is not sponsored by Vinyl Storage Solutions.
No, it's not. That's right.
Not.
I
but if you do buy something using my code, I get a few pennies. So
that's right.
There you go. Tim wants to know what store in Ottawa was it? Do you remember?
Sure. Nope. Can't remember. Nice little store. Had a pretty decent selection, but I cannot remember, Tim. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't remember for sure. I could look back and let you know, but off the top of my head, I don't remember. So
Trevor says he's seen electricians with less plugs. Listen, when you're big time YouTubers like some of us,
Yeah. That's right.
That's what you got to do.
That's pretty good, though. Good job, Trev.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about a bald guy with a lot of plugs, but which is not the three of us.
Yeah, I thought that's where he was actually going. It took me a second. I went, oh yeah, plugs. Okay. There's actually there's an S&M 2 as well. So if you like Metallica, it's got some of the newer stuff. Again, I don't think it's with the same symphony. I don't even remember which symphony they were with on this. The San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. That's a lot of S's. So there you go. Good stuff. Yeah.
All right. Daryl, what you got?
All right. So I'm just going to briefly segue off of Joe here. One of the albums that I actually did think of are bands that I think would be really good to see in concert. You just mentioned them, Metallica. So I'm just going to show the Ride the Lightning one. That's not the one I was going to talk about right now, but it was in my pile. So just kind of going off of what you were saying, I just think that those stadium type bands, the rocking guitars, just the loud singing and all that kind of stuff. But the one that came to mind first of bands that if I had a chance to see them in an arena, it doesn't matter what iteration of this band. This is the album that I have. But I mean, I don't think anybody could say that going to see a Van Halen concert would be a bad idea. I think stage presence. I mean, this one here, 1984. I mean, David Lee Roth doing the whole jump thing and the keyboards and the guitars and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter what iteration, whether it's after he leaves the band or their late 70s stuff with Hot for Teacher and all that kind of stuff. I think that Van Halen as a concert would be amazing. I don't know. Do they have any live albums?
Yeah, probably. In fact, just amongst yourselves, please hold. Is this live? I don't know if this is live. I don't remember. Right here, right now, pressed from original master tapes. I don't know if this is live or not, but yeah, it is. It says live right on the cover, Joe, you dumbass. So it's Van Halen live. Yeah. It's
hold it up there, Joe.
And side H. How many sides for the teachers in the audience? What would side H mean? How many albums would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. So yes,
I don't know. I teach history.
Live, and it's got one. Yeah. I don't know about math.
Yeah, I teach history, not math.
I don't even know what math is.
Yeah, this is the 4 LP edition. I'm not sure if there was a 2 LP edition or not, but yeah, it's pretty good. And for what it's worth, they were good live. They were great live. Them with Sammy and Dave and his band were good. So, and yes, they have something live.
All right, my turn, I guess. All right, I'm gonna go this way. This is from a little concert called Woodstock. I don't know if anyone's heard of it or not, but this is a band that's often forgotten about in terms of Woodstock because they performed in the middle of the night. They were not in the movie and they were not on the soundtrack. That was Creedence Clearwater Revival. They played a set at like 12:30 at night. and it's so good. It's so good, but it's not on the Woodstock soundtrack. It's not in the movie. So, there's video of it out there, but it's also dark as hell and you can't see much in the video that is out there. So, but it's really good. It was before Green River came out, I think. But at any rate, this was them when they were starting to turn into more of a jam band where they would do like a 20-minute long Susie Q kind of thing. And this is great. So there's some of the hits that are on here, right? Born on the Bayou, Bad Moon Rising, Proud Mary. But to do like side 4, the whole side is just Susie Q, and it's fantastic. Yeah, probably my favorite Woodstock performance by anyone that performed at Woodstock. And I think probably my favorite Creedence live performance. So it's good that this finally just came out on vinyl a couple years ago. So it's good that it was finally released because it's a hell of a damn good show.
And
Nice.
I can't remember if it was Who'll Stop the Rain or what's the other Rain song?
Have you ever seen the rain?
Yeah, I can't remember which of those two were written while they were waiting, because that was literally what was going on. It was raining, and that's why they played so late, if I remember correctly. And the impetus for, I think, Who'll Stop the Rain or Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, so one of those was written while they were waiting, and then obviously a massive hit for them. So
Dan wants to know, have we ever seen Lorraine?
yeah, there's a bathroom
He's here
on the
all
right.
night.
He wants to know.
Yeah, there's a bathroom on the right. Yeah.
That's right. Comments here. Tim says he saw Sebastian Bach last night and his ears are still ringing.
I believe
Yeah.
it.
Not
And how did he
surprised.
sound, Tim, in the comments? Just let me know how he sounded, because he's coming here soon. And I saw him on The Masked Singer, for what that's worth. I didn't think he sounded all that good. And I like Sebastian, and I like all of Skid Row, and he's a decent dude. And I've actually got a live Sebastian Bach album somewhere too. I just don't know if he's still great live or not. I'm going to show you guys my ass for a second, because
And don't lie, you liked them on the Gilmore Girls.
yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know where that Sebastian Bach is. It might be a bootleg, actually, but it is a live Sebastian Bach album. I just don't know where it is.
I think if
And
I
I'm
was
going
going
to
to see,
look for it, because I think it's back there, but then you guys will just be looking at my ass, and
well,
nobody
you can
needs
turn
that.
the camera off if you really want to, but
Oh, no, I enjoy showing my ass. I just don't think anybody needs to actually
I don't
see
know
it.
that we
That's
need to
the
see it.
difference.
You're a good
No,
friend,
you
Joe,
don't.
but not that good.
Okay, fine. You guys discuss amongst yourself, because it's Emma's turn, and I'll turn the camera off, and then I'll see if I can find the Sebastian Bach album. Please
Okay,
hold. I'll
I
be
gotta-
back.
See, now Joe's just plugging his OnlyFans. I see what this all is now.
True.
This live stream.
Exactly. And there is a 10% discount, but I'm not
There
telling
you
you the code. Yeah. Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Richard is saying yes, Van Halen live and the expletive, because I never like to swear on this channel. Deluxe has a live album. He saw the 5150 tour. Wonder what the artists were paid in royalties, if at all, for Woodstock. Probably nothing at all, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Dan says I got a few hair metal CDs at Value Village, Mr. Big, and Firehouse. I got some Firehouse on vinyl because they just.
I actually love Firehouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace,
Yep.
CJ Snare. I saw them probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and they were great.
they just re-released the first album for the first time on vinyl in North America.
Yeah.
There's a European pressing from back in the day. It's worth a fortune.
hmm
And the funny thing is, the wife and I were at a flea market years ago, 5-6 years ago, and she found a copy. She's like, "Ooh, Firehouse," and she bought it for like $10, and it's like $300 record up there. She's got the magic touch for finding like obscure, expensive stuff. So I had to settle for the reissue when it came out. So Tim says he was absolutely phenomenal. He was skeptical going in, but he had all the charisma. He is a seasoned frontman, showman, and he still has the pipes. I can't believe you didn't bring some earplugs. If I'm going to see Sebastian Bach, I'm bringing earplugs because that's going to be loud.
Yeah.
There's a hilarious video of Sebastian Bach at Cheap Trick did a short little Vegas residency, very short, where they played like 3 back-to-back weekends in a row. This was probably a couple years ago, and Sebastian went to a couple of those shows, and there are hilarious videos of him in the crowd because it was a super small venue, and he's so tall, just jamming out to the entire set.
That's awesome.
So funny.
That's awesome. What you got there, Joe?
Yeah, I did find it. So it's called Forever Wild. It's not a great recording. Like I said, I don't think it's a bootleg. If it is a bootleg, it's done really well. It says mastered for vinyl, but I mean, and it's raw. It's got him yelling at some dude in the crowd and everything else. It might be out there. I'd have to look for sure. So check out your local record store, but I'm not positive. But it's pretty good because it's all he had what? Did he have one by himself or something? But then it's also 18 in Life, and it's all the things that you expect, Youth Gone Wild, things like that. So it's pretty good. 100% virgin vinyl, limited edition, numbered 180-gram colored LP. I'm looking at the hype sticker that I put on the inside cover. So yeah, there you go. So and it's red and white. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good to know he sounds good. Maybe I'll check it out because he is coming to the casino here. He's on the casino circuit these days, but that'd probably be a good show. I saw Skid Row forever ago. They opened for Aerosmith on the Pump Tour, and then I saw them open for Kiss once, but it wasn't with Sebastian. But the Pump Tour was with Sebastian, so it was pretty good.
Trevor says that live album is sourced from a VHS tape.
Yeah, yes, you're right, Trevor. Yes, that's exactly it. Now that you mentioned that, and so it's not great, but it's okay. It's okay.
Better than nothing. Tim says Bach's newest album is really good, but it's out of print already. So
yeah, we're him on the cover, animated, I believe. But yeah.
All right, let's go around again. I think it's Emma's turn.
All right, this is the last one that I pulled, and I'm surprised it hasn't been shown yet. This was my first, outside of Cheap Trick at Budokan, the first live album that I just absolutely fell in love with, and I think a lot of people share this same opinion on that. But we can't talk about live albums without talking about 1970, The Who, Live at Leeds. This captures, in my opinion, the just raw energy of this band and the power of this band at their peak. Think about the 14, 15-minute improvisation and version of My Generation on side 2. So good, into Magic Bus, but then also Substitute off of side 1. So great. I love this album. This is the first album that I listened to this morning when I was thinking about albums that I wanted to show. So,
and everybody shines through in there. Go ahead.
What's that, Joe?
I was just going to say everybody shines through in their respective parts, right? Like when it is Pete doing his guitar solo, he sounds really good, and yeah, so it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of regarded as maybe the best live album ever, I think is kind of the consensus.
It's up there.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to show this one later on, but I mean, I got The Who on here. You can't go wrong with The Who.
No. I agree.
I mean, when you're headlining for 3 or 4, what is it? Not Criminal Minds, but Law and Order shows or whatever that is. CSI.
That's right, CSI. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So can you imagine some of those shows? Those would have been insane. Like just watching those guys play and then just destroying their instruments at the end and just as loud, right? Because they were the loudest.
Loud, chaotic energy. Yeah.
Just everything. It would have been, oh my God. And then they went back to their hotel rooms and it got even worse or better, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it. So
launching TVs out the window.
Every time I see that stuff, I look at my walls and I just go, I couldn't do that to one of my babies.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Exactly. That's
then
right.
I take them all down and I hug them and make them feel better.
Yeah.
But I guess, they get given instruments, so what the hell do they care?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, Joe.
That would have been great. So, okay, I have no idea. How many times are we going around again? Because everybody's running out of stuff.
Well, we're getting close to 2 hours, so this might be the last one.
All right, then I'm going rapid fire.
Do it.
Rapid fire, not
Love it.
talking about them much. Because if they get pulled, they get shown, which sounds dirty, but it's not.
I
So
knew he was plugging OnlyFans.
that's right, exactly. If it gets pulled, it gets shown. Simon and Garfunkel, the concert in
It's
Central
usually
Park.
got to get pulled in order. No. Never
Wait a
mind.
minute. Hold on. Wait, what? So,
Anyway, keep going.
yeah. But now, if anybody
Remind
was
me.
excited in any way, shape, or form, look, there's our Garfunkel. So that'll just kill everybody's excitement. Anyway, I think Paul Simon birthday the other day too. But this was one of the original, one of those big free outdoor. Let's all have a good time. And I love Simon and Garfunkel, even though Art Garfunkel's in the band. I love that. I talked about this one recently. I had a chance to see these guys a bit ago. This is really good. It's a really well done live album. They have a greatest hits out that isn't very good. So just buy this if you want a kind of an Everclear's greatest hits. And Art sounds really good still. So that's obviously awesome. Then
Here's
there's
wonderful.
this kid. Then there's this kid who got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on the weekend as well, Ozzy, and of course Randy, and the tribute concert. So if you want some crazy guitars and Ozzy Osbourne, you got to have that one. This one's cool. This is one of the first ones I thought about, and these guys get mentioned, but not as much as they should. And it's Supertramp Paris, because this is a really, really good live album. And again, if you're looking to get a greatest hits of Supertramp, it's good. And they stay somewhat true to the original recordings and that, but sounds really good, really well done. Them in Paris. What do I got? I can't go a week without showing Joan Jett. This time she's just with all the rest of the Runaways. I think this was done in Japan. Again, no shit, Joe. It says Japan right on the cover. It was live and in Japan. A lot of bands recorded live in Japan, but this was back when they were so young and getting exploited to all hell and gone. But good album. The sound's borderline. It's okay. This one's for our friend Curtis. Little Bob Marley live. Another guy that I never got a chance to see, but would have loved to have seen Bob Marley live. I just think that whole vibe would have been fantastic, and not for the dope and not for everything else. I'm a big Bob Marley fan. Just the both the positive messages and the messages of hope, and of course the protest messages as well. But that's awesome. Almost done. We talked about it quickly. Eagles live, and then we'll finish off with the gentleman from Detroit whose birthday I think it was today. If not today, it was yesterday. And he's got two, and there might be other ones, but Bob Seger, both live Bullet and 9 Tonight. Good stuff, great stuff. I know Trevor, I don't know if Trevor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you got a chance to see Bob back in the day in Detroit when you were living there. But that would have been great. That might have been some of my first introduction to Bob Seger, was actually some of the live stuff. So there you go. That's my rapid fire. And there's another 20 or 30 that are on the shelf still. There's a lot of really good live albums. Those just happen to be the ones that got pulled and now shown. So there you go. Rapid fire.
All right.
Nice.
I'm going to do kind of a rapid fire too. Maybe not quite so rapid, but if you show it, it gets pulled. I mean,
Wait a minute.
wait a
Yeah.
minute. That's the wrong way
No.
around.
Well, a couple of bars that I've been to before, that's the case.
Well, it may be. So
Never mind.
I know we already talked about Elvis, but if we're talking live albums, I got to go to the 68 Comeback Special because it's awesome. It's awesome for a bunch of reasons. I mean, Elvis had been out of the spotlight in terms of performing for 15 years, off making, for the most part, terrible movies. There's a few that are good. GI Blues is good. Jailhouse Rock is good, but there's a lot of shitty movies. So he hadn't really performed a concert in the conventional sense in a very long time. And he was kind of, nervous about how receptive the public would be, right? Because when he left the music scene, he was, the king. The Beatles have come along, and, the 60s have come and gone, and, are almost come and gone. How's this going to go over? So he does this television special in front of a live audience at CBS, and it's so good. I mean, I think this is probably Elvis at the height of his power, as far as I'm concerned. He wasn't quite the, crazy hip swinging Elvis he was back in the day, but man, just the power of the performances in this show. I mean, there's the leather suit when he's doing, some of the early stuff, but when he closes it out, singing "If I Can Dream" and he's dressed in this suit, holy shit!
Yeah.
Amazing. So,
Yeah.
for my money, that's Elvis at his best.
I can't prove it, but I think the very first time the phrase "he crushed it" was uttered was they were talking about Elvis, because he did crush that show.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. An album that changed my opinion on this guy, Liam Gallagher's MTV Unplugged. I'm a huge Oasis fan, but I always thought Liam was a dick. Noel was a dick, but Noel was a dick with talent. I just thought Liam was a nasally singer. And I didn't like the stuff that he did post Oasis. I thought the BDI albums were terrible. I thought his first solo album was terrible. And then the Unplugged came out, and it's a kind of a mix of some Oasis songs and songs from his Why Me, Why Not album, which came out around the same time, which would have been about 2019 or 2020. And this changed my mind. I went, wow, this is better than he sounded even with Oasis. And his solo stuff on here was really good. And I kind of became a Liam Gallagher fan because of this. It was recorded in a church in Manchester. Hometown fans. This is just really, really good. Love it. I got two more I'm going to show. I'll show this one first. Why not? Both of these are box sets, but it is what it is. Cover up the naked person. This is The Darkness, Permission to Land Again. This is their 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary of Permission to Land. And in this collection, there are two live shows, one at Nebworth in 2003 and live at the Astoria in 2003. And both of those shows really, 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 really good. I mean, a lot of people just dismiss The Darkness because there's, I believe in a thing called love, and that's all there is to this band. There's a lot more to this band than this. They're so good. They're great musicians. They don't take themselves too seriously, which is good. So a lot of it's kind of glam rock, but they're honoring the genre, but kind of making fun of it at the same time. And they just put on, I haven't seen them live, but from the recordings, a couple of really, really good shows. So I'm going to go with that. And I can end this with a band that Joe mentioned in passing. Band I love to love, but hate some of the people in it, the Eagles. The Eagles have a ton of live albums. There's Eagles Live, which Joe showed. There's Hell Freezes Over. There is Live at the Forum 76. There's the Millennium Concert. And then there's this, Live at the Forum 2018. And I'll get to your comment in a second, Richard. This came out as a 2LP and a 4LP, and this is the 4LP version. The Eagles are they're a lot of things. Aside from the fact of Henley and Fry being kind of assholes, they're always pretty damn good live, and their live albums, for the most part, are pretty good, except for Eagles Live, which Joe showed, because that's so loaded with overdubs, and it's mainly from one tour, but a couple songs from a tour like 3 years before. It's not very cohesive. But what I really like about this is the only Eagles record with the current lineup of Deacon Fry and Vince Gill. And it changes it a little bit. I mean, Deacon Fry kind of sounds like his dad, but Vince Gill, I'm not a country guy by any means, but that man fits in the Eagles perfectly. His voice suits the band, and he is an amazing guitar player in a band that already has Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
And you go, how's it even possible that both of these guys are in the same bloody band? So this is great. This is, like a career spanning, kind of thing. And everyone does their own their own songs as well. So there's actually a Vince Gill song on here, "Don't Let Our Love Start Slipping Away." But I like it because it's kind of got like a sort of a sense of maturity to it that some of their earlier silly shit didn't. But I just like it because it just sounds a little more polished isn't the right word. It's still a live record. I don't know that there's much in the way of overdubs on here, but it's like the addition of those guys in the band, and I think it's the best of all of the Eagles live records. So, and to answer your question, Richard, if you want box set sleeves, go to vilestorage.ca. Use promo code Northern.
Yeah, I was going
Just
to say, in all seriousness, you have been talking about those. They've come in because you had them on a couple of things. You had them on the Darkness as well, and they are good. They fit nicely over those boxes.
There might be a box set video coming out this week.
All right,
With
okay.
a box set sleeve video specifically.
With a box set sleeve. There you go.
Stay tuned, if anyone
Yeah.
cares.
I saw that iteration. Is that the right word from the teachers in the house? Iteration of the Eagles, where it was with Vince and where it was with Vince and Deacon, and it was really good. It was really good, actually. So
I was skeptical when they joined the band because I went, this is just Henley being his usual asshole self, trying to milk it. And you know what? The band should really hang it up. I can't buy them as part of the band. And then I heard it and I went, well, that was kind of unfair of me to judge without hearing it.
yeah, Vince could have been in that band from the start because he fit in really, really well. And Fry's son sounded great as well. And they did Glenn's songs, right? But they also did the harmonies. They filled in those harmonies really well. So yeah, it was good.
And like I said, shame on me for being a little judgmental because, kind of like the Fleetwood Mac analogy, there's so many lineups of that band. What's the real Fleetwood Mac? Well, it's whichever one you want to listen to. And same with the Eagles. There was an ever-evolving cast of characters. So, yeah, it's not the original Eagles. Well, the original Eagles recorded 2.5 albums together.
Yeah.
So, does it matter if it's the original Eagles? No. So, I like it. I think it sounds good, and I like that lineup of the band, and I would kind of like to see it. The Sphere show might be interesting, but I just can't justify the cost. So,
yeah. Whatever version of the band you're listening to, that's the best version of the band at the moment.
I saw them on the Long Road Out of Eden tour, and I thought they were amazing. I'm glad I got to see them once. That was kind of like a bucket list thing. So, yeah.
Cool.
We'll run down a few comments and then we'll wrap this up here. So, let's see here. If you did Grateful Dead live albums, you could still be talking at 3 a.m. I'm surprised no one brought up any Grateful Dead tonight.
Yeah. There's some around somewhere, but
I'm not a big Dead fan, but it's not that they're bad. I just don't own any of it. So, Supertramp Paris is excellent. Tim says Supertramp is releasing a live in, I assume he means Toronto. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I'm not sure when that's from, but I saw that. So I know nothing other than what you've said, Tim, but I did see something about that. And again, I don't know if it's from something when Roger was around or if it was Supertramp after Roger, but
Dan says those Supertramp live versions are on par with the album cuts. Interesting. Ted Nugent double live Gonzo deserves a mention. Yes. You just mentioned it, so thanks, Dan.
There you go.
JWG Moore, a few that haven't been mentioned. Deep Purple Made in Japan, Skinner, One More for the Road, Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous. Here's the problem with live albums, right? We're only talking for 2 hours. I mean, I probably have another 30 live albums over there. So
yeah,
we could be talking about it all night. So yeah, we're bound to miss something and someone's going to go, you didn't mention, right. Anyone bring up Sammy Hagar all night long? That's some good stuff.
Yeah, no, I like
it. Trevor says he saw Seeger in 96. He met him at a function in 2000. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I knew he had seen him at some point. I wasn't sure if it was back in the day.
Little Feat's Waiting for Columbus is a killer too. I don't know that one. Elvis 68 to 71 is some of his best. Yeah. I even like the old Fat Diamond Studded Jumpsuit Elvis from later on. There's just something about it that I like. But yes, the peak of his power, I agree. 68 to 71, just awesome. Trini Lopez live at PJ's. Okay. And there we go. That's it for box sets. That was fun, folks. Thanks for doing that. As we always do at the end, we'll go around the horn if anyone wants to mention anything they got going on in the channel, anything they did, anything they got coming up. I mean, you got the floor since you are a guest.
Yeah, no, just thank you guys for having me on. Like I said, I've been a frequent viewer and have really enjoyed watching these streams. So it's been fun to hop on and finally have a chance to talk with all of you. So thank you. But outside of that, teaching. That's on my agenda. I try to push until till winter break here. So a couple months.
Nice.
Yeah.
You and Alex have stuff planned at all? Because I know you guys do some stuff from time to time, but
Nope.
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 Well, I don't need to see him anyway. I just looking forward to seeing you, but I just thought I'd mention him. He isn't around tonight.
Well, I think he's still down at Sam's, or he's on his way back from Sam's by now. So they had a few days of beer and buffalo chicken calzones. So
Beer and vinyl, maybe.
yes, yeah. I was on with John the other night as John was reorganizing his music room, and both Alex and Sam were participating in the chat, and they'd killed a few soldiers. Put it that way. There's a few barley sandwiches to be had. So yeah, sounds like they had a blast. So, Joe, what's you and I got something coming up, but
We do, yeah.
we won't say what that is yet. So
Yeah, we'll be those guys. We'll say
There's
there's
something.
this thing coming up, but I'm pretty sure, like we talked about off the air, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. The guy's been really good getting back to me about stuff. It's just a matter of setting up a time and then which one of the band members that we're going to talk to. Yeah, so really looking forward to that, and that's going to come out on your channel. I think we'll just record it on your channel. I'll throw it up on my
we're up
store
on
channel,
vinyl, and then
and
we're
we'll do
also
the
going to put it up
podcast.
on the podcast as well. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, like I said, we're going to be open Tuesday night for those that are in Regina. We're going to be open next Tuesday night at the store. I've got a little bit of fun planned for that. My brother-in-law is in town visiting, and he goes, "Where's all your YouTube stuff?" And I said, "Well, I've stopped kind of doing it for now, other than the live." So, yeah, it's been store stuff. It's been this live, and then we've got a few things planned. We have to do our not versus our Kiss versus Beatles, but we've got to do that still. So, because I pulled the records up, and they're sitting over there, and if they get pulled, they got to get shown. So
You got to get shown.
yeah,
Well, let's maybe towards the end of next week, let's schedule something and we'll do it.
yeah, we got to get that other one not out of the way. That's not the way to put it.
No.
I'm really hoping that comes through. That's going to be fun.
I hope so.
They've got
That
music
could be
coming
fun.
out and stuff. So yeah, it'll be great. It'll be good. I
What
tried
about
for
you,
one
Dick?
other artist, but they didn't. They shot me down. All you got to do is ask. You got to shoot your shot, as the kids say.
That's right. Exactly.
Yep.
They're not going to say yes if you don't ask them. So.
Yep.
What about you, Daryl? What's cooking?
Absolutely nothing. Kind of like Emma, just teaching. What I'm going to do, just because I actually never got to do a rapid fire on this, so I'm just going to name 5 bands that
Oh, sorry.
I
Shit,
was
did
going
I
to show.
screw that up?
It's all
She
good.
interrupted me and go, "Listen, you stupid asshole."
I'm a teacher. I'm used to just being patient, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Well, apparently I'm used to being a shitty host, so the floor is yours, man.
It's all good. I was just going to mention, I think Queen's got some pretty big stage presence. I mean, Live Aid, you can't go wrong with that. Don't know what I feel about Adam Lambert taking over, but I mean, I think he's over the top, that guy. But
I think he's
he
great.
still does a good show. Of course, Joe, you mentioned the boss. Got to go with Bruce. Madonna. I would have loved to have seen Madonna before she had a fake face, but pretty sure she probably has a good concert. And then I got to was from CanCon, Bryan Adams. Although you guys say that lately he's kind of been shit in the bed with some of his music, but it's all good. And then, I mean, last one, you can't go wrong. I mean, biggest performer right now, I think probably on the globe is Taylor in the 1989. So yeah, those are mine. I figured I'd just use this spot because I literally have nothing on the go. There's nothing new other than the fact if those of you that showed up late, it snowed in my town this morning. It's -3 right now, so dealing with the weather.
Ew. I'm not looking forward to that.
I probably would have gone to see Madonna in the day. I don't know if I'd go and see her now, but I would have gone to go and see her in the day. I think.
Joe really
Yeah, I
wants to
think
see Brian Adams.
I saw Brian. I've seen Brian lots.
Oh, okay. I know you're a big
I am.
fan, Joe.
And I've said it before. I've said it. You can go back and look at old episodes. I think he was very good live, actually. He put on a really good show, played for 2.5 hours, did every song and a few more, and put on a fantastic show. So he is very good live. And I'd go see Taylor. And I really want to actually, the other one on my list that I still want to see too is Lady Gaga. I'd like to see Lady Gaga at some point. I think that'd be a pretty fantastic show. And I've come to appreciate her music more lately as well. So yeah, anyway, not to interrupt or whatever.
One album I was going to mention when you were talking about that CCR Woodstock one, I'm actually surprised. Maybe it just has to do with the rights, but the Woodstock 94, when they did that on the CD, I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff on there and it's good quality stuff. It'd be nice to see that put on an album.
It's probably a rights thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah, because I think 9 Inch Nails kind of did their own, and I think Green Day has their set.
Yeah, they might have had something.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd rather have got the 94 than the 99. I'm not sure how much of 99 I want. But.
Yeah, fair. Of those albums you showed, Daryl, I've seen Brian Adams twice. Once he was good and once he sucked. And then I saw Taylor and she was amazing. So there you go.
Right on.
For what it's worth. What's cooking with me? I don't know. I don't remember what my video was this past week. I think it was EPs. I did a video about EPs. Something that Brian at Embryonic Robot had started. And the next episode, I believe, of the Vinyl Community Podcast, either later this week or early next week, will be the episode we did a month ago, Canadians Talking About Canadian Music, which Joe, and were you on that one, Daryl, or was that just the most recent one?
Just the most recent one.
Okay, so it's the one before that. So that'll be up on the podcast channel. And yeah, that's all I know. Not sure what I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do a video about the new box set sleeves from a certain sleeve supplier because they just came out with some. So, but other than that, I don't know what else is going on yet. I haven't really decided. So it is what it is. So that's a wrap, folks. Emma, thank you for being our guest. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
To make it. And Daryl and Joe, always a pleasure, guys.
For sure.
It's fun every week. So we'll be back next week with another guest and another topic. And for all those that have stuck around to watch us in the comments, thank you very much. We appreciate you spending your time with us this evening. That's everything, folks. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.